Okay, you guys have requested a video on how to make red beans and rice, so today is the day. So the first thing you gotta do is take your red kidney beans and soak them in water overnight. In this recipe I've got 350 grams. Now when it comes to the amount of water, I asked a girl from New Orleans where red beans come from. I said, how much water do you put in? And she says, about that much. And I said, what do you mean by that much? She says, well, you put about that much over the top of the beans. So it gives the beans a chance to swell up, gives them room to move about a little bit, and it also gives you room for your vegetables. And you can also see a favorite here, which is a big piece of bacon, smoked bacon. I got this at Lidl, which is very nice. You can also do a vegetarian dish without any of this stuff. So as far as ingredients is concerned, you can put in bell peppers. Here I got a couple of those. Onions, garlic, green onions. What else could you, sometimes people put in celery, which is always nice. A can of tomatoes, which is optional. Sometimes a little tomato paste goes along with it. So you want to just scrape all these in here. Spices are obviously key, and these are a number of different things that I use. This is a little bit of cayenne pepper, smoked paprika, chili flakes, parsley, bay leaves. If you want to mix it up a bit, there's some Tajín, which is a Mexican thing. Barbecue stuff, definitely optional, but it does give it kind of a sweetness. Black pepper, Lea and Perrins is key. Salt here, obviously, and anyway, you can use any of these, any combination works. Just be careful, you got some hot stuff, 1, 2, 3. Harissa gives it, I think, sort of that Eastern flavor. It's also kind of spicy, so just watch the spices, you just have to taste it. And ideally you have some McElhenny's Tabasco sauce, but we're fresh out, so I think we got enough hot stuff though. Now, spices. Salt, about a tablespoon or so. Can of tomatoes going in there. Lovely. Parsley. Parsley's pretty nice, so just dump in about that much. Good sized bay leaf going in there. Bird's eye chili flakes. These are really spicy, so just about that much. I think I'm going to pass on Cooper's for this time around. I will put a little harissa in there just because. Smoked paprika just because it's interesting. Maybe a teaspoon of that to go in. Tajín, why not? I'm not quite sure how to use this spice, so that's about a teaspoon going in. Pepper, easy on the pepper, that's maybe half teaspoon. Lea and Perrins, the good stuff here. I don't know, you can use as much as a quarter cup, but go easy on that. Maybe put, well, about that much. Give this a stir. As far as the temperature, you want to get it up to a boil, but you want to spend most of the time with a gentle simmer. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit here on my stove. So you want to keep the volume of water about the same, so I'm going to put the lid on that. So you can see how things are kind of boiling down to the bottom. So what we're going to do is remove a couple things. We're going to take out the bacon, which is now done its good work. So you want to pull the meat off of it. This is a pretty meaty piece of bacon here, so it's not too much fat to pull off. that outer bit is all fat, which is delicious when it's cooking, but it's a little grisly. And you want to just chop that up into little bits, because that's all going to go back in the pot. So the reason I took out the meat and the bay leaf is I'm going to use this to dice it up a bit. See, if I left the bay leaf in there when I'm doing this, then it would chop it up into little pieces, the same with the meat. So the key is you want to grind up about half of your beans. You don't want to make a puree out of it. You want to have some whole beans, but when you break up the beans, it helps to make it thickens it up. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this. And you can test it when you pull some out. Some of those beans are broken up a little bit. After you've done grinding it up, then just put all that meat back in there. So by the way, if you don't have one of these things, you can use a potato masher, which works pretty good too, or you can just leave all the beans whole. It's up to yourself. So I usually make the beans in the morning, and 3.5 to 4 hours of cooking time, and then I'll just let them set on the stove top for the rest of the afternoon with no heat on them. Let them cool down, and what happens is the spices get a chance to kind of get worked in, and also the beans continue to soak up the water so it thickens a bit more. And then around dinner time, about 10-15 minutes before you're about to serve, just turn the heat on again and stir those up, get the heat in them, and then you're ready to go. So for this recipe, I'm going to do 1.5 cups of rice, so that means 3 cups of water. So I start with a little bit of oil, and then a little bit of salt. Get here. It's too much salt, about that much salt. And then 1.5 cups of rice. You want to stir that up just a little bit. All the rice is coated with oil, and then get your kettle going and get hot water, and that goes. Get a nice boil on it, and when you have a good hard boil, just leave it at that temperature for about 10 minutes. And then when that 10 minutes is passed, then just turn the heat off and leave it for another 10 minutes. And the rice should come out perfect. Anyway, there you go.